Seems awkward with you there, not Tim.
I don't love it. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to the Funky Panther. Coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas. We've got a phenomenal episode for you today here on episode number 86.
Oh, 86 already?
86.
I was born in 86.
I was born in 86.
Oh, no.
My wife was born in 86.
You really?
Nice. We've got a fantastic guest with us here tonight. We've got Lanny Lancarte. You want to say hey?
How's it going?
Hey, he is a chef and owner of Fantasma Kitchens and Righteous Foods, right?
That's right.
And so we'll get into some of that as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. We'll get into it. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
I'm Stark.
And we are the Funky Panther! Felt kind of weird, no Tim.
I know. Okay. So if you're watching us, you might know that I'm in a weird spot. I am over here trying to do audio things. Tim's not here. We're one short tonight. So family emergency. Hope everyone is okay, and you're in our thoughts and everything like that. We love you, Jesse, Tim. I don't know. It's we're here for you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna continue to turn this down.
Okay.
That's what
totally.
I'm supposed to do.
I
That's
guess
what
that's what he does.
He told me to keep turning it down, and it's gone. We did it.
Awesome.
Congratulations,
Hooray.
everybody.
Okay.
Now, don't adjust your screens. We have a special guest tonight, Lanny Lancarte. Oh, you already did that.
I did that.
Oh, see, Tim always does this. Jesus, mother. Okay, so I'm looking at the video, and he looks so much like Bobby on video.
Oh, snap. You look like our friend Bobby Hernandez.
Yeah.
A lot like Bobby. Yeah.
Good looking guy.
Yeah, he is a handsome dude, that's for sure.
Actually, he looks like you, but he's like a knockoff. You're yes.
Yeah.
Don't get it. You're
But that actually makes sense, though. I don't know why, but that actually makes more sense than him looking like Bobby's. Bobby looks like him.
Yeah, Bobby looks like him.
Bobby's like an equate version of Lanny Lancarte.
He's the Kirkland model. Yeah.
So real quick, before we have so many things to ask you, and we're excited about it. You had some food for us, and we're going to talk about that. Talk about how you got into food in the first place. Real quick though, none of y'all got to go to that show this weekend. I just want to mention the Lou Charles show real quick.
Yeah.
You missed out on a hell of a show, my dude. It was so much fun. So Lou Charles is a local rapper in Fort Worth. He goes all over the place, though. He just recently came back from, I think he was in California, and Colorado, and Houston. He's been all over the place. He was also with us at South by because we got to perform at South by recently, which was really cool. But he kind of hand-selected, I guess it was like 4 or 5 musicians that performed before him. Every single one of their sets were phenomenal. Got to see Godbold since our set was the exact same time as his at South by, so got to see him perform. Cool. Very talented. There was also this guy named Brennan from Lubbock, which of course Roy got into because he's a tech dude. Yeah. But he had so much energy on stage, and his music was really, really good. And then of course he had like the Red Raider chant. I don't know what it is, but he did it, and Roy was going nuts. Like he was like. It was good to see Roy.
Just running around with a heart on, like, oh, Texas Tech. Run him, guns up.
Hey Tim, will you go ahead and bleep that in post? So yeah, y'all missed a good show. It was really fun though. Like Tom was there from Visit Fort Worth. Teresa was there for Amplify 817. Lorena and her non-linger husband was there, which was fantastic. A lot of really cool people. The guys from Trend were there. I know I'm missing some people, but it was a really, really cool night. And so shout out to all of them, and shout out to you, Lou. Like that was a hell of a show. For it not being Louapalooza, and he did say that Louapalooza is coming up in June.
Oh, cheers!
And so we'll have to have him back on the show before Louapalooza because we'll be there.
Definitely, absolutely.
He said it's his last Louapalooza.
Really?
I called him a goddamn liar. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. He said you got to change it up. You got to switch it up. So I don't know what he's going to do, but apparently it's the last Louapalooza.
Sounds like a lie to me.
Every year he does this big show at Tulips, or he does a big show in Fort Worth, and last year it was at Tulips, and. Fantastic artist all the way around again. And then there was this rapper from when we were back in high school, right? Big Tuck from Dallas. And I think he's from Dallas. And he performed at the very end and played some of his hits. And it was just insane. It was so much fun. And of course, Lou always puts on a good show. So looking forward to Louapalooza. But yeah, That's all I got. I just want to kind of plug that real quick. And of course, hey everyone, thank you for watching us on YouTube. If you don't already do so, make sure you like this video, leave us a comment, let us know what you liked, didn't like. How did Javier piss you off? Let me know. I want to hear about it. And then, of course, we're also on all the social medias at The Funky Panther. Make sure you follow us, like. We're almost up to 1,400 followers on our Instagram, which is pretty cool. It's just been kind of like climbing slowly but steadily. So thank you to everybody. We appreciate you. And then, all of this stuff is at thefunkypanther.com. So that's it. That's all. That's just the beginning part.
Cool. Let's get into it. So what do we have here in front of us?
Oh, yeah. So you brought us some fantastic food.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like we just stuffed our faces right before this, but then you also brought us drinks. So what is this?
Brought a couple like leaded and unleaded drink. We got our fully leaded drinks are the Fantasma Spirits, the Espiritu Fantasma, and that's obviously top seller margaritas.
Okay,
that one, we have two. We have a house and top shelf. That one's got añejo, fresh squeezed lime juice, a little bit of orange liqueur, and a splash of agave, and we started selling those a while back, and they do the trick for everyone.
I love this bottle.
Yeah,
did this happen because because COVID, people can buy liquor to go and things like that?
So I think it was 2019, actually, they changed the law in the state of Texas. I don't know if you remember early on, whenever, 2020 happened, it was the kits. Do you remember the margarita kits?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what was legal. They made that legal back in September of 19. So that's when I started planning all the ghost kitchen stuff. But they obviously opened the gates, and it stuck too. They didn't revert back to the kits, and so we were able to sell.
It's got a really cool label.
Full on, yeah. We all of our cocktails are branded and have like special little labels and names, and we've got I think 7 or 8 different cocktails.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one we've got there?
This is our unleaded one. These are like our kids-friendly version, the Libre.
Okay.
Spiritu Libre, so the free spirits. And that one's we dry some blackberries in-house and make a powder out of it and mix it with Topo Chico and fresh lemon and make a limonada.
Very cool. Well, I will start with the leaded, and then we'll switch over. Very cool. We're excited. So something that we like to do with our guests, just kind of like break the ice and then get to know a little bit about you before we get to know a lot about you.
Sure.
It's something we call the Funky Five. So essentially, we're just going to ask you like 5 very quick fire questions, just the first thing that comes to your mind. They're all local related, so they should be very easy for you. You've been around Fort Worth for a little bit, right?
Yep, a little bit, yeah.
So, all right, let's get into number 1. And you can absolutely say your own, by the way. But your favorite Fort Worth restaurant?
Well, I'd have to say my own first.
Yeah.
Fantasma Kitchens, the newest, greatest place on the north side. And it is, something that's, new for me and dear, but there'll always be a special place in my family lineage at Jyoti's because I, literally grew up there. My great-grandmother had a house back there and spent most nights there. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I try, it's like, the grilled cheese and tomato soup, like the food there, people like it or love it, but it's kind of comfort food for me. So I do, it's got a deeper sense of I don't know, restaurant than other restaurants. But
I hear you.
Anything in town that's locally owned and guys or gals that I know, that's where I support.
We've got a lot of really good restaurants.
Yep.
Like over the past 10 years, this kind of like change or transformation into like people aren't eating at Chili's anymore. They're going to all these fantastic restaurants that we have around Fort Worth.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. I think when I was a kid, an Olive Garden opened over here on Altamira. I was like, "Oh shit, a new restaurant in Fort Worth."
The creme de la creme of restaurants.
Well, like you said, it's really nice to see people eat like for example, at your restaurant, is it which one was it? The pizza one?
Yep, pizzas of pasta.
Pizza, yeah. Oh my God! Like we just had some. Was it barbacoa bucatini?
Yep. We do a pasta with bucatini, and it's got a traditional veal and beef bolognese, but then we top it with a akiushi beef cheek barbacoa.
Oh my God,
it's so good.
That's good. We do that on a pizza too.
And it's fresh made pasta.
You could tell. Yeah, I could tell you that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like you can't beat that. I mean, especially if from it coming local and organic.
No, it's not organic, but
Okay.
I mean everything's responsibly sourced, and
Yeah.
we use free range chicken, and everything that we can is as clean as it comes. I mean, when I opened Righteous, that was where I was already doing that with Foodway before, but that kind of integrity in food and ingredients will never probably fall out of my repertoire. I mean, I think it does. It means a lot. I mean, where you source your food, what you do with it. I mean, you can't make chicken soup from chicken shit. So
Yeah,
we've always really looked and sourced the best quality meats and that we can. So
it's awesome.
yep.
I'm trying to do the Tim thing. Let me hit
God.
it again. There it is.
That's very creepy.
All right. So question number 2: your favorite drinking spot or coffee shop in Fort Worth?
Wow, now we have another restaurant, Righteous Foods. This is getting good. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to. When we opened Righteous, of course, there was some local roasted coffee in town and small, but I mean, we opened Righteous in 2014, and that was one of my goals is to open, to serve some boutique roasted coffee, and we used Stumptown, which is, they kind of started the third wave in coffee, and at that time nobody was really using anything, and there were some local roasted that are awesome, but I wanted to do a good food experience and a coffee experience. So
Yeah.
once I kind of got the Stumptown hook in my cheek, it's hard. I'm really partial to those guys.
Yeah.
Even though they got bought out and they're not the small romantic place they used to be when we first started drinking them.
Still good
while
stuff,
back.
though.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. Third question: your favorite local musician?
Oh man.
It doesn't have to be Fort Worth. It's just like maybe DFW, maybe even Texas. Just
Yeah. Geez, that's a stumper, man. I was afraid you guys were going to ask some music questions because lately I just put on some lists and I don't pay attention to people's names anymore.
What's the last concert you went to then, or the last show?
concert. What is the last concert I went to? I guess I went to a couple of Dickies. I went to 21 Pilots, that first show at Dickies.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was good.
It was a very good show.
Yeah, I went to the Black Keys after that. And
Oh,
I think where did I go after that? I haven't seen. I guess I went to Aspen Jazz Festival, and I think Weezer was there, and maybe somebody else I can't remember.
That's
but-
fun. Very cool.
So
All right.
for the most part, you would say you're more into rock than any genre type of music.
Yeah, for sure. I think, being a kid of the 80s and mini adult of the 90s, I think
Yeah.
it was kind of alternative rock at that point, but now I don't know what that means. So,
I think it's like old people rock.
Yeah.
now,
Right.
So for
Right.
music we listened to growing up. So that means that did you like Duran Duran?
yeah. I mean, yeah, that was in middle school kind of days, but for sure, Duran, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're
Simon
gonna be,
LeBon.
They're
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
at Dickies here pretty soon.
They are.
Yeah.
Are they? Okay.
I've gotten really back into like that music, like that era of music, and that what do y'all call it? Like new wave or new synth or something like? What was it? New wave.
Yeah.
That's what Tim said it was. Yeah, that whole genre is
New
like,
Order and
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. I've been listening to that.
Psychedelic Furs.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Question number 4: your favorite podcast doesn't have to be local, just something that you listen to every now and then.
I'll be real honest. I don't listen to podcasts.
Yeah?
yeah.
No
And
crime,
I want to.
anything?
No, I want to, and everybody. It's one of those things like reality TV that I've never watched either, and it's not because of choice. I don't know. It's like I've hung on this long because people ask what podcast, and they'll send them to me. I'm like, golly, I haven't done it yet, so I guess I don't. I have never seen Survivor or any of these other things either.
Well,
Okay.
you're a busy man, so I mean, like,
You got a
understand
few
why-
things going on. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it, I guess.
No, I'm never too busy I don't. I mean, I'm sure it's like anything I would get into too. Once I find something and set the hook, I'll get it will be you guys because you're
Nice.
definitely my first venture into the podcast. So
Well, then in that case, what is your guilty pleasure? What's
eating.
all right? Yeah, I dig that.
yeah. No eating. No, I mean I get when I go into something. I got really into bikes and skiing and snowboarding, a lot of outdoor activity stuff for a while, but right now. I have 2 small kids, 3 and 6, and 1 small business that just is crawling, and then 1 business that's walking now, and it's a little stretch for free time, but
For sure.
yeah.
All right. So
Actually, that's another question I want to ask too. Since you
Okay.
said eating is one,
Yeah.
what is your
4.5.
what is your midnight munchie snack? Like, what's that thing if you get up or you're up late? What do you have to eat, or what do you eat?
Cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Any kind of specific?
Like an aged cheddar or something, any kind of block cheese that's fatty and substantial. I usually have some sort of block cheese
I love
in the
that.
refrigerator. So
do you cut it a piece off, or you just like bite into the chunk?
yeah, I mean, definitely can bite into it. If
Nice.
if it's not already. Usually, yes. I didn't want to say it. Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
On this last episode, we were talking about this new kind of terminology that people have been using called goblin mode. Have you heard of that? So essentially, it's like people eating like tacos over the sink, or like just eating a whole block of cheese, or laying on the couch and putting the plate on your stomach and just kind of like watching TV. Just that kind of like semi-lazy, but probably because we got too much shit going on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I'm here for it. I'm here for biting the block of cheese. That's what I.
Yeah, my wife loves to see the teeth mark in it.
We'll just cut around that.
Just like right after I take a swig of the OJ out of the jug.
Oh man,
Can't you get a glass?
you're right. You are a
It's
kid at
all
heart.
the way over there.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
to go over there to get a
Didn't we have
glass.
to wash the glass.
The orange juice
Like-
is right here. It's got enough acid in it. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
fine. All right, last question for the Funky Five. So a lot of times we'll sit down and we'll like flip through the channels and we'll see what's on TV. And then there's just one movie that comes on and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to watch this movie all the way through because I don't have nothing else going on and I'm not going to miss this movie. Even if it's halfway through. What movie would that be?
Like an a favorite that I would stop
Yeah.
on. Okay. Anything comedy. I mean, anything that I tend to gravitate towards anything that'll make me laugh after a stressful day. But
Oh, yeah.
kind of any comedy from the anytime genre on that I'll stop on. But I think that early my parents were big Godfather fans, so
Okay.
Nice.
I'll stop and watch that in bits, or James Bond or Bruce Lee.
I just watched the new-ish James Bond. It was pretty damn good. Have you seen it?
Yep.
Very good.
I just saw it yesterday, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. It was
I
really
watched it over
good.
the weekend with Danny. It was really good.
Actually, now that you bring up The Godfather, the 50th anniversary just happened.
I think I saw
And,
that. Yeah.
it's very cool because that's one of my top 5 movies.
Yep.
So like, do you prefer Godfather 2 or 1?
2.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because everyone says 2, and
Yeah.
I have to agree because it's really one of the, if not the best sequel of any
Yeah.
type of film like ever made. There's never
Yeah.
been a better part 2 than Godfather Part 2.
Yep.
I mean, you got Al Pacino and you got Robert De Niro, so you really can't beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really good choice.
No, my dad really, I think he still watches it over and over. He thinks he's the Godfather. I think.
So when you talk about comedy movies, and you said like just kind of any era, really,
Yeah.
is there one actor or comedian or someone that you really like their movies specifically?
Tracy Morgan cracks me up, and he's not in a lot of stuff, but like
He's funny as hell though.
I mean, Will Ferrell. Some of the earlier stuff is anything that's completely over the top and irreverent
Right.
is there. I mean,
So then
Yeah.
you watch 30 Rock.
yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan is pretty.
He's very forward
Yeah,
in
I
that
just-
show. Yeah, he does well.
I
on
just
that
think
show.
whenever he was in that SNL, when he was doing like the
I'm Brian Fellow.
Brian Fellows and the space one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get you
Astronaut
pregnant.
Jones.
Astronaut Jones. Yeah.
I mean that.
Oh my
that
God, yeah. There was one with Britney Spears too.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh yeah. Jesus, I forgot about all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean he got me hooked. Those Astronaut Jones and Brian Fellows are enough to be like, that guy's genius.
It's timeless.
Yep.
You can never get enough or get bored with it.
Yep.
So.
All right, well that's it. You hit all 5 of the funky five.
What's wrong with you?
questions.
You only hadn't even had a sip of your drink, and you're.
I've just got so many jobs right now, and I can't focus on one. Okay, but hooray! Thank you. That was fantastic. I'm gonna hit it with the kids. There it is.
Nice.
Look at it.
There's more soundboard stuff we have, but obviously, Tim. Sorry,
I found the one button.
Yeah. He's probably listening. He's like, son of a bitch,
You idiot.
you're ruining the show.
Other ones.
All right. So, oh snap! All right. So, Tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you've got the 2 restaurants, but let's go back. Tell us a little bit about, like, are you from Fort Worth?
Yep.
How'd you get into food? Just like the whole backstory. We'd love to hear it.
Man, I'm gonna be here a while.
Okay, like the Cliff Notes version of the backstory.
No, yeah, obviously I'm fourth generation. My great grandparents from my dad's side was Joe T. Garcia and his wife Jessie. So I'm fourth generation Fort Worthian, fourth generation restaurateur in Fort Worth. So my roots are planted deep here, and I grew up, went to St. Andrew's Catholic School over by TCU, and then went to Arlington Heights High School, and then went to TCU, and then I did a study abroad program, lived in Mexico for a little bit in college, and that's kind of where I got into food.
Where at in Mexico?
In Cholula, in the state of Puebla.
Okay.
Yeah, the Universidad de las Americas, and it was there kind of eating interior food a lot in a non-tourist level, living there and shopping, and it was all kind of opened my eyes, and that's where my food passion came from. But then after that, it kind of sparked the food fire then, and came back here and continued to work at my family's place. Ran the front of the house, wasn't really thinking that's what I wanted to do forever. Just was, I like more than 2. I love the 2 choices, but I like more than 2 choices. And I'm a routine guy, but the monotony, and I just wanted to, carve my own path and get out of the shadows and do something else. So I went to culinary school at CIA in Hyde Park, New York. Went and worked for Rick Bayless in Chicago at his restaurants, and then came back to Fort Worth in 2002.
Yeah.
And so this was all kind of the 90s, late 90s and early 2000s, and came back here, and then had a pop-up restaurant before that was a term. So I was doing just tasting menu and wine pairings out of a little room called the La Casita at Joe T's. And at first I was just playing with food and having a good time, and didn't really know what the hell I was doing. And people were getting a great deal on, multi-course tasting menus, and I didn't really have any overhead or anything like that. I was just
cool to have that opportunity though, just like play around, figure it out, like what you want to do. Yeah.
Yep. It was great. So, and I didn't have to preset the menu. Everybody that kind of just came in knew that it was going to be what it was, whatever we were serving that night. And I did a lot of stuff back then. I was trying to find some local farms, and at that time, early 2000s, it was hard to find some of the stuff I was looking for. So I grew a lot of stuff from seed out of the greenhouses and Joe T's, and cutting greens and herbs right before we put them on plates, and had some buddies from culinary school down here working with me, and it took off and got turned a lot of heads. So I opened Lanny's Alta Cocina in 2005.
Yeah.
And then we got a lot of national press, regional press. Did that for almost 10 years. And I mean, it was in 2005, like as you said earlier, the dining scene in Fort Worth was totally different.
Right.
It was pretty limited. And I felt like we definitely took a different path than where everybody else was going.
What kind of foods were you doing?
We had a focus on authentic Mexican ingredients, but exploring other cuisines like Italian, French, Spanish cuisine. It was more what now everybody kind of throws a blanket term of new American on anything that they don't know how to describe.
Right.
I guess at that time too, it was kind of hard. We called it Mexiterranean for a while because we were using a lot of Mediterranean styles with Mexican ingredients.
Yeah.
But we would do gnocchis and pasta, everything fresh, handmade, and we would intertwine authentic Mexican ingredients with it, and change the menu about every month, top to bottom. Change the tasting menu every night. We always had a 5-course tasting menu with a wine pairing, big wine list. And
wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was a little younger and a lot of energy, and that's kind of where the passion was. And it was I don't know, after almost 10 years, I just was ready for a change and looking to do something different. So after that, I started getting into endurance sports, and like it's kind of mirrored my kind of work life has always been in line with what I'm doing personally. So at that time, I didn't go anywhere unless it was a food research trip. And after that, I started snowboarding a lot and riding mountain bikes, and started doing a lot of healthy stuff. Getting in really good shape, and so I started eating really clean. And so I closed Alta Cocina and opened Righteous Foods and in the same spot. And so I opened that in 2014. And at that time too, in 2014, it was a little. There weren't a lot of options on that front, and that was another reason we opened it too. Is that I kind of was like, well, I don't know where to eat when I want to eat this way. So
Right.
I did that. And then
Has it always been in the same location?
same location.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where Alta Cocina was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Same
Nice.
place. Yeah. So I haven't moved far. And then,
Wow, that's a really good spot. And you
Yeah.
got it in early too.
Yeah.
That's a really good spot.
well, even back then, there was talks of, oh, it's all coming, 7th is going to blow up all
Right.
the way to right there. But then it got legs on the other side of
Yeah.
the intersection. So they kind of stopped a little shy of where we were, but now it's finally, there's some big cranes.
Well,
next
yeah, and
to it,
Camp
which is-
Bowie's moving that way now too. So you're
Yep.
still kind of like in between two very popular and growing areas. So
Yep.
yeah, that's perfect.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great spot, and it's we actually did all the remodel ourselves too. When I changed over, I kept all my cooks on staff, and I was like, if you guys want to help bang some nails and build some shelves and
Yeah.
distress this place, like let's do it. And we all did the construction. We just may or may not have pulled a permit, and I don't think we technically had to, but we just put some tape on the windows and
Yeah.
just did some work. And
Well, even
changed
from
it.
the road, it looks awesome, like very modern, like with the wood slats and things
Yeah.
like that,
We
right?
did
It
that
looks
last
really
year.
nice. Yeah.
We repaved the parking lot and redid the patio last year.
Okay.
Yep.
So-
Yeah,
So whenever you're doing the curating that little menu at Joe T's,
Uh-huh.
was that before the James Beard invite?
that was before, yeah. So we got invited to cook at the Beard House in 05.
Mhm.
So once, that was like 2 months after I opened Alta Cocina on 7.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we got a lot of national attention. I got like a Marie Claire top 50 bachelors or something.
Wow.
That was they gave you an email account. There was a lot of funny stories out of that. But then we also won like a Star Chefs award for starchefs.com. They came to Dallas in 07, and I was the only person in Fort Worth that received the award. And it was me and like 6 or 7 other guys and gals from Dallas.
Did you use some of the recipes that you had made for that?
Yeah, for sure. Our menu really did change often. So we had a few things that towards the end stayed on kind of statically, but
Yeah.
I was real big, couldn't sit still kind of thing, and I changed everything top to bottom quite often. But yeah, it was recipes I've stylistically it was the same, but we changed our menu a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was a fun time to do that, and it was different, and it was a little bit before I think even in other areas weren't really exploring Mexican cuisine on in that fine dining aspect. And Rick was. I went to work for Rick Bayless and Topolobampo, where I worked alongside at Frontera too. They were doing it, but he stays very authentic. Like he's pretty regional and kind of sticks to it and is tried and true. But I don't know. I wanted to explore some other areas with those ingredients.
And so obviously that helped you with the Lanny's Alta Cocina
Mhm.
Mexicana. So
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, at the time, like in culinary school, we had to choose a place to go do your externship at that, somebody who was doing something admirable or something you want to do. And at the time, there was no other place I wanted to go. And so I showed up and interviewed with him and was like, coming to work here.
So that drove your passion, because I did read that if you weren't doing this, you'd be playing baseball professionally.
Maybe yeah, some kind of sports, maybe golf these days. Now.
Yeah.
I don't know about the endurance, but yeah. I grew up really liking sports, so I always, everybody gets that question of what sport would you be playing? Like, I don't know, a relief pitcher or something high stress level that I got the game on the line, get all the notoriety, or I'm the jackass that blew it all. Either burn your dish or I make a great meal. One or the other. No in between.
So Righteous Foods, you said in 2014.
Yep.
Right, and then when did you kind of get into that Fantasma Kitchen thought process?
Around 17, as I start, my daughter was born at 14, and so we started ordering food at home a lot, and I was really pressed for time, and I saw a lack in the market of places that were making anything more interesting than, there's good food still to go, but like everything comes in a styrofoam clamshell and plastic baggie wrapped up, and I was like, there's an opportunity to do something a little bit more than that, because there's people that don't have the time to go out to dinner, but still don't, want to have something that's packaged right, that comes at the right temperature, and it's timely. So I started playing it at 17. We were going to launch it in 19. We signed a lease in late 19. It fell through, and then 20 happened. So we launched Eat Fajitas, which was the only one I was planning at the time. out of Righteous, and did it out of Righteous until just the end of October, November of last year.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
Did it take off pretty well because of COVID? Like
Yeah.
people. Okay. Nice. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of, so we had already had a pretty substantial to-go business in place at Righteous, and we already had an app and online ordering and all. We were already set up. So whenever everything happened and we had to make the transition, it was a little, it wasn't easy by any stretch. I mean, it sucked for everybody, and still having to figure out the new way to do everything. But it was a little easier for us to like transition to the to-go, and like all of our servers, when they closed the dining room, I kept everyone, and all the servers were happy to turn into delivery drivers. So we just started this delivery business. So instead of our servers going to wait on tables, they just were getting in their cars and dropping the fajitas or Righteous Foods off people's homes. So it took off, and then we the fajitas for a while, and then Righteous too. It kind of, people are like, oh, well, let's get that delivered.
Right.
So
yeah.
I know that everybody kind of had to pivot and do something different, but I feel like it took us about 3 days. Like we were ready.
That's good. That's important.
Yeah.
Like I was definitely, you could notice early on, right? Yeah. The businesses that were slow to kind of like figure out what the hell we're going to do. Yeah. And the ones that already had like an ordering system in place or drivers ready to go, not, using Uber Eats and all that kind of stuff, because I know that the money's not there when you do some of that stuff, right?
Well, it takes money away too. It takes money away from the small business.
Yep. And so being able to like get on it quickly and pivot, because it's important, right? Especially when a world event happens, and you were able to do that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it was good. It didn't feel like it was good, but looking back, it's like, golly, it could have been really bad.
Yeah. Are you glad that you didn't have the brick and mortar for Fantasma yet? Would that have made it more difficult, or do you think it would have been successful? I guess it depends on where you were at the process, huh?
At first, I was like really upset. Like, God, we had a lease in place in 19. And, they opened up the alcohol delivery. That was a big deal there for a minute.
Oh yeah,
and it still is actually. But
we were getting margaritas a decent. I mean, like we've got El Paseo right over here, and we're like, all right, we'll just run by El Paseo, get some margaritas and some nachos, and come on home. Yeah.
Yep. And we'd have people that were like, bring lawn chairs in the parking lot at Righteous and just drink margaritas. It was great times, interesting times.
Yeah.
But it was it worked.
You adapted well. You adapted really well when it came to that, because like you were saying, people were like camping out we'd go to Chimmy's and like tailgate over there, and just to get like a margarita or two. And I mean, everybody had to evolve, from the pandemic, and everyone suffered greatly, but you seem to kind of like pull yourself in to succeed better. I mean, you found a way to make it work. So that's.
Yeah, I think everybody's got to be resilient, and that was a deal. I did see a lot of good operators, some locally and some of my friends in other markets that just were like, I'm tired of this shit, and just walked away from the business.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought about it more than a dozen times, and I thought about it hardcore when they closed dining rooms. Of course, everybody at first was like, what in the world is going on, and what are we going to do? And I had composed a letter that we were going to close. Like, oh, thanks for your patronage. It's been a good run. We're done. And I sent it to a gal who used to help me with PR, and she was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like this, calm down and think through it.
In the chat, we've got bring back parking lot parties. That should be more of a norm. We should do like parking lot parties at like restaurants and bars and stuff more often.
Yeah.
Like, instead of having tailgates, we just tailgate over there at the restaurants.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got it there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought we at Righteous, we have a flat roof on our side room. And we thought about doing projecting a television screen up there and doing the parking lot party stuff, but you could put a band up there too and put it in the parking lot. Oh, I don't know what the neighbors or the city ordinances would be, but
as long as it's before 10, I think you're good.
What are they going to do anyways?
That's right.
They wouldn't dare.
Oh, you want us to stop? Okay.
All right. So when did you get the brick and mortar, and then when did you kind of like branch off from just Eat Fajitas to the other two?
So I started planning all the stuff immediately to try to move it somewhere else. I wanted a smaller location, add more brands, and I was already in the ghost kitchen mode, which is kind of all over the place now. everywhere else. But
so what is a ghost kitchen?
It's a place with to-go and delivery only. I mean,
Okay.
Traditionally, I mean, nobody really knows or defines it yet.
It's a ghost.
Yeah, it's a secret. Yeah. No, it's it started on the coast, and I think I don't know for a fact that the guy that started Uber, Travis or whatever his name is, it was a real estate play where he would rent out small spaces to a bunch of folks that wanted to get in low entry and ship food out to places. And it's kind of, there's a bunch of places now that, especially during the pandemic, everybody was throwing them out in trailers and other places. And but it's just food to go and delivered, and it's in all little box spaces. But I took a different approach in that we are doing it from scratch, and it's a little bit more elevated cuisine than kind of the traditional, fast food joints.
Yeah. Shout out to Sean. He was the driver. Really, really nice. And we dug into that food as soon as he walked out the door.
Okay. Get back to work, Sean.
Get back to work.
We're still open.
I was like, I'm going to watch you. You guys going to do great.
You shouldn't have said you were online, man.
You ratted yourself out, man. Come on.
Okay, so then you branched off into not just Eat Fajitas, which was amazing, but the other two as well, right?
Yep, yeah, Pizza Zapasta and El Pollo Tocayo.
Pizza Zapasta.
Zapasta,
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a play on. I was going to call it, in fact, the initial domain that I bought was Pizza Zapata for Emiliano Zapata. And somebody mispronounced it one day, and I was like, "No, that works. Like, I'm buying. Does anybody own that domain?"
You're like, "Oh yeah, that's what we call it."
I am the cleverest guy around.
So okay, the word for tocayo is like if you and I have the same name, then that's what a tocayo is.
Right.
So what was the meaning for that with El Pollo Tocayo?
But because we serve carbon or frito, so we have two kinds of chickens with. They're both chicken.
The best kind. The best. I want to cut. Oh, yeah. This is so fucking delicious.
So
the goddamn chicken's so juicy. Like it's.
Is that grilled and then fried?
Yeah.
Okay.
We brine all of our birds. The fried, we just do a buttermilk batter, like a southern fry, but we season the dredge quite with some different stuff. And then the carbone style, we smoke it first, and then we chill it, and then finish it over open fire and do like a pasilla glaze on it. It's pretty good. Yeah, we use an all natural bird too. Makes a difference, and the prices are out of hand in that market right now, but hopefully they stabilize at some point.
Right.
But yeah, it's the Pollo Tocayo, we have some sides like southern sides or plays on southern sides, like because that's kind of my I don't know, my dad's side's brown, my mom's side's white, so my mom's southern kind of cooking, and my dad's take kind of mend the two, like the grit that we do southern grits, but we add pozole to it, so like pozole grits, and we add cheddar, and we do esquites and
pozole grits.
Yeah,
that sounds good. I'm like trying to wrap my head around it. I'm like, ooh, yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
that's probably really good.
They're good, yeah. And we do collards and ham hock and like smashed fingerling potatoes with salsa brava and queso cotija and some really good sides. I mean, the smoked bird's good, really good too, though. I mean, my daughter loves the carbone chicken. She won't eat like most kids want chicken tenders. She only wants the smoked chicken.
Well,
I want the one that gets her hands messy.
It's good though.
The flavor though, like I'm sure that's my favorite kind. Like carbone style chicken is one of my. I could just like eat it raw. Like I mean, not raw, like raw chicken,
Yeah.
But I would eat it with nothing. I would just eat it like that. No sauce.
Then say that. Don't say you're going to eat raw chicken on air.
I like it raw.
Yeah, he's a big fan of salmonella.
Full on goblin mode. Don't cook the chicken. Eat a piece of cheese and eat some chicken.
That's kind of what all of our food is kind of like for stuff like this. I mean, sitting around shooting the shit, and you don't need a plate. You need a tortilla. You just need your hands, and whether it's a piece of pizza or the carbone chicken that you can just pull some off and put it in a tortilla and throw some escabeche veg on there, or the fajitas, same thing.
Like, I'm not ashamed to say that I don't use silverware whenever I do eat carbone chicken. Like if I'm not picking a piece of a breast off and throwing it on a tortilla, then I mean, and I seem to think in our culture, like we really don't use utensils much. If there are tortillas there, those are our fork and spoons.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an even better reason to just go hard.
There's no need for it.
No, not at all. So this is a dumb question. I don't think it's dumb, but most people think it might be dumb. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
A hot,
because
let's
it's either
let's just stop talking about you or your restaurants.
Yeah.
Important question. Let's get to the real shit here.
Yeah. This is
As a chef.
this should be this is a debatable question. I think. I mean, it's. I think technically, if I had to remember back to culinary school, that a sandwich just needs an accompaniment of protein and a bread. So, mustard, hot dog, and bread is the sandwich.
There we go.
Wow.
That's it. That's the answer.
Wow.
We're going to cut that and make into a clip, and then he's going to make it into a video clip, and it's going to be fantastic, and it'll prove everyone wrong. It is a sandwich. Thank you so much.
Our intern does all of our
Yep.
video, and so he'll be pulling a couple little clips. That'll be one of them.
Yep.
Also, do you ever use the chicken like for yourself? If you're going to make a sandwich, do you ever use that? Like, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, and that's something you can throw in with salsa, and then
Yeah.
maybe put some queso fresco on there, or on pickled onions.
Yes.
And
That sounds amazing.
like a pulled chicken. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it gets me shaking whenever I
Yeah.
see like think about good foods.
I know, except we just ate
Yeah, I
so
know.
much food. We're sitting here talking about food and still getting hungry.
which is
again.
actually a great point. Whenever you're there, get a bit of everything.
family.
Oh man,
Yeah.
What? Olive Garden, the original fancy restaurant.
it's Vin Diesel with Olive Garden.
Family.
your family. That's one thing you should do whenever you go over there to the Ghost Kitchen. You get a little bit of everything off of the menu, so that way you can. Because obviously, if you're there with 3 or 4 people, you're not just gonna have one plate. And then if he sees my plate and he's like, "Man, hey, can I have a bite?" Like, yeah, obviously. Oh well, I'm not gonna be an a-hole about it. Oh, here you go.
Yep.
Have some of this pasta.
So you can dine in at Fantasma.
So technically, we don't have any seats inside. We just
Okay.
have this little kind of deck on the outside by the pickup window.
Oh, we saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope one day that we are able to put a patio out on that big lawn area. But we have to get it rezoned and do a bunch of stuff.
Got it.
So, is there anything against like what Angie on the chat was saying? To tailgate and eat the food there, like
No, not at all.
got a nice
That would
parking
be
lot.
awesome. Yeah.
So how does the little gated little patio work? Because you got plenty of tables. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
restaurant right there.
No,
really.
yeah. There's 4 tables. It seats about 20. We had like I don't know where they came from. Like 30 kids pretty much came last weekend and just filled up the entire thing. So I know it can seat 30.
Yeah. Oh snap. Okay. And then was there a window? There's a window.
Yeah,
there?
there's a window. It's like a pickup window, and
Okay.
So if you call and get it to go, you just walk up to the window and Sean will hand you the food unless he's on his phone chatting
On YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube.
So if I wanted to go to Fantasma, I could go to the patio. I saw there was QR codes. Can I
Yep.
just like order right there?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then-
The little tables we have outside have a QR code that you can order, and it'll order pay right there and comes up to the. Actually, we'll bring those out,
Yeah.
and then we have an app that if you're at home, you can because you get rewards and. We'll push specials too
Dang.
and stuff. Yeah.
Look at you with all the technology.
And-
It makes it super easy. That's awesome.
And so again, you don't use Uber Eats or Favor or DoorDash. It's just on the app, and it helps like
Yep.
the drivers too, because you can also give them the tip directly to
Yep.
help them out too.
Right.
So
Yep. Yeah, it
Okay.
cuts out I mean, because they do. I mean, if you do the math on those, and to and all, we are going to partner with one of the third-party apps here really quickly, just because it's marketing.
Yeah,
and They have a
absolutely.
big database, way bigger than we do. So we will be on DoorDash here pretty soon. But my initial vision for this concept was to employ more people, have our own drivers, and have brand loyalty. And
Yeah.
we know that if our chicken's going to be hot because we're going to put it in a bag and it's going to show up and it's going to be right. It may not, be sitting in the back of somebody's truck when it's 30 degrees outside and show up. But cold chicken's actually good. So
yeah.
But I mean, if you're paying for it, you probably want it hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also,
Heat
you,
is-
you want to be sure that they don't leave the bag or anything like that.
Right,
Or, you
yeah.
know,
Right.
It's an important bag.
What I think is really
Sean, no, I'm kidding.
What I thought was really cool about Fantasma is like it is 3 different restaurants in one, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many times families or couples they're always like, "What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat?"
Yep.
Well, one might want chicken and one might want fajitas. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And you've got, pretty good spread. Like what Sean and
Yeah.
you brought us tonight. We had 2 different kinds of pizzas. So I guess maybe we should just go over what you brought us and kind of like talk about them. Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure.
So you had the elote pizza.
Yeah, it's the flor de calabaza con esquites. So
Okay.
yeah, elote.
It tastes like street corn. It really
Yeah,
did. It
it
was like
is,
really
yeah.
good street corn.
Yep.
And then the other pizza was like super thick, insanely crispy, but like soft deep dish, right?
Perfect. Yeah, that's totally what we're looking for. Yeah, it's really It's a thicker style. It's like a Sicilian style or Detroit.
Yeah.
But like the Detroit style kind of has the hallmark of the outside, the sauce on top, but we don't do that. We put the inside back in.
It was so good.
Yeah, so that our thicker style we use 2 different flours, and the thicker style we proof for 12 hours, so it's really airy and really it's not a gut bomb bready deep dish pizza. Yeah. It's a really light and airy but crispy because we put a substantial amount of olive oil on the bottom. It almost pan fries it at the bottom. Yeah. And we have it's El Gordo y la Flaca. So we've got 2 styles, so the either the thick or the thin, and they're both really unique and different. The thin one that you guys had, the Esquites, was it's kind of foldable, New Yorkish. Yeah. And then the Gordo's kind of a Sicilian Detroit style, and they're really different. But you can order the same signature pie either crust you want.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did. We were like trying to take pictures because it all looked so good. We're like so hungry, but we're like trying to put it out, make it look okay. Did a quick Instagram video for it, nice. And then Javier and I immediately like grabbed the thin and just like folded it and just started eating. Like we didn't even have plates or anything yet. We're just like, yep, that's what we're doing.
Yep. Did y'all get any of that jalapeno relish?
Yeah, it was really good. Really silly. Yeah, we loved it.
That was kind of an homage to my family's place.
Oh my God, that relish on the nachos are freaking bomb, man. Yeah. Like that's the one thing I love getting over there at Joe T's is the nachos, and also what else is there? The tacos too.
There's only 2 things. So.
Actually,
I've been there for brunch and the whole ass menu.
Now what I love is Esperanzas. Like I go hard over there.
Yep.
Especially whenever I get it from like a Favor or
your mama.
Uber Eats.
Get it from your mama.
Man, it's my favorite hangover food. Yep. Like I will get like the
chorizo con papas.
Yes, I will. Oh my God, yeah. And I have to order like maybe 6 tortillas. Yeah. Like on the side, and even if I don't eat them all, like I put them in the fridge and I just like eat them later. Yeah. But it's just so good. Like I get queso fresco whenever I'm not eating. Like if I have to save up like for other meals, I just put queso fresco with like beans on it. It's bomb, dude. So they're doing great stuff. What's one thing, if you, I know you can't mess with perfection, but with the Joe T's menu, what's one thing that you'd want to like switch out, or what would you want to add?
Want to add our fajitas.
Yeah. Okay, can't tell your dad that?
No. I think he's asleep, so I'm safe tonight. I'll get invited to Thanksgiving this year.
No, your fajitas were really good, though. Yeah. Like, so they're super thin, right? Like, just the meat is super thin, but then they're cut super thin. So it's like, I don't know. The thing that sucks about fajitas sometimes is you got these blocks of meat, but it's like just, I don't know. It was very tasty.
And tender, too.
And tender, yeah.
We use all natural chicken, and we pound it out a little bit, so... and it's fresh too; it's never frozen. And then on our beef, we use sirloin, so it's a different cut than the flank or skirt. Yeah. And but we do some stuff. We tenderize it, we butterfly it, and we lay it out, so it's a lot thinner. Okay. For that reason too, because it's it also helps the cooks out a little bit because if there's various thicknesses. Sometimes it may be raw, and it's just a little bit more consistent whenever we kind of. Standardize the size of and the thickness.
Right. Probably cook it a little bit faster too. Probably efficiency.
Yes. Yeah. So you're only waiting hopefully 30 minutes, 45 minutes instead of an hour, 30 minutes.
Nice. And was there like chimichurri or something?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, we do chimichurri on top of it. We do a dry rub, different one on each beef and chicken, and then we do a chimichurri. The beef fajitas get a roasted poblano chimichurri, and then the chicken fajitas get a roasted piquillo chimichurri.
They're so good.
Yeah.
So no, I'm with you on your comment. Yeah, they were really good fajitas.
And then we on the tortillas we use duck fat and butter, and they're really I like our flour tortillas too. They're really good.
That's why I saved some of those tortillas. I'm keeping those. Oh yeah, nobody's gonna take those home.
You can tell as soon as you pull them out of the bag, and there's like you said, everything is packaged so well, but they're in that little paper foil bag, and so they're still warm and like floppy and good. Yeah. Whenever you pull them right out of the thing.
Yeah, and they have enough. You've got tortillas, especially flour ones. If they're store bought or whatever, they'll be stuck together and whatever.
Yeah.
But these, they're fresh.
So those were good. And then we also had, I guess, with that probably was the rice and beans.
Yep. Yeah, black beans and a poblano green rice. Yep. And then we have ads over there like guacamole and queso. I don't know if I put all those like chips and stuff in there in that one, but we have a couple quesadillas, like jalapeno sausage, akiushi.
No, Lanny, you really gypped us on the whole food situation. No queso, but just a couple pizzas and fajitas. And then we had the pasta. What was the pasta?
Bucatini. We make all our pasta in house with semolina, and then we do a traditional bolognese with veal and beef, and add barbacoa on top, akiushi beef cheek meat.
So good.
Yeah, it's good.
It was so good. So it was better than, but it reminded me kind of, even though it was different. I don't know. Maybe it was just like the fresh pasta. When we were heading up to Nashville, and we stopped at Memphis. Remember we stopped at that barbecue joint, and they had a barbecue spaghetti. Like they were known for barbecue spaghetti, and we were like, probably not. But like that was what they were known for. That and their dried ribs, because it was Memphis. It was so good. Like it was like surprisingly good. It shouldn't have been good, but it was. And that was kind of a similar, like you got the barbacoa and then like the fresh pasta, and you're like, I don't know, but it was damn good.
Yeah, I think it works. I mean, we don't really like overkill it with any marinades or anything. We do a traditional marinade on it. It does have a lot of chilies in it, but then we crisp it up afterwards too. So it's a little bit. It's not just a super chewy, fatty barbacoa.
Right. And then that wasn't it, because that wasn't enough food for just a few dudes. Then we also got the bucket of tenders, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was all natural tenders. I was going to send chicken on the bone, but I don't know. It's easier to eat those tenders.
It was easier. I mean, we were all setting up and stuff, and they were able to grab and go. That was nice.
Yep. So yeah, and people do order a ton of everything. It always surprises me how much it's a pretty varied menu. People order all of them, and house parties too. I mean, that seems to have really taken an uptick the last few years. So, I mean, parties of 10, 20 on the weekends all over the place. It's pretty cool.
I can definitely see us having like a party or like a pool party at my mom's house or something like that, and no one knows what they want. We're like, we'll just get a little bit of everything from the same source, and it's delicious, and just get it all. Yeah. And she lives right off of Jacksboro and Skyline, so it would be a quick drive anyway.
Yep. Use a pickup window.
Right.
It's actually the main core of foods that you would normally get for a party too, because like a lot of the times, if we're not like having a carne asada at the house, it's pizza, or if it's not pizza, then it's chicken. Yep. Like we always go to like pollo recchio or something like that, and it's like the mix of the three. So I mean, I can't say the best of both worlds because there's three of them.
Yeah. The three worlds.
The three worlds.
The
it's
tres
like the
worlds.
trifecta. It's like the diamonds.
Yeah, we've been compared to that. The flag of the when they combine the three KFC, Taco Bell, and
oh my God! Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah.
That was the trifecta.
That was my inspiration.
I'm going to do that, but so much better.
I grew up down the street on University. I only had to go to one place.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was the old Long John Silver's.
Yep. That's
Wait,
right.
was that for real? Some of the inspiration?
Yeah. No.
Oh my God.
I was like, holy shit. No. Ran with it.
So as for inspiration, when did that bug hit you or hit you? When did the bug bite you of wanting to cook?
I think in Mexico, when I was living in Mexico and I was 19 or 20, seeing Mexican food from that vantage point was very different than what I'd seen in the Tex-Mex scene and all I'd seen, really. No. I was always kind of forbidden to go to any other places. My grandmother was like, it's blasphemous to even mention another place. Like, you tell everyone this is the only place to eat.
Absolutely.
So when I went down there and kind of got exposed to a bunch of different ingredients and dishes that I'd never seen before, it just was really eye-opening, and did a bunch of cooking tours down there with I'd met Rick Bayless before I went to work for him, so I did some cooking tours with him, Diana Kennedy, a lady named Patricia Quintana. Spent 2 and 3 weeks at a time just cooking in different restaurants or with them, up to a couple months at a time. I was a little bit younger and no real ties, so did some tequila tours and lived in Jalisco for a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, there's I mean, that was kind of my first love of food, was interior Mexican cuisine and regional cuisine, and just I never wanted to go anywhere else but to explore different regions because they're all so unique and different. I mean, just the different iterations of mole or the ingredients and how they're presented or the same thing tasting totally different in a different region just because everybody's got their way of doing stuff. Yeah. And so that's where I want, what I want to do. But I kind of fell so in love with it by the time I was done with culinary school. I was like, well, I know a little bit more now, so I don't need to do the authentic regional stuff. And I wanted to explore the more traditional fine dining stuff with Mexican ingredients, which at that time wasn't really being done. Nobody was really blending the two. So I just had some fun using the tools I knew how to use in a different technique that I learned how to cook.
So whenever you did culinary school and whenever you came back home, were you getting like, well, no, that's not how you do it. No, you do it this way.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, certainly. Yeah, I mean, for my family, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
From other people, like, wow, this is great. My family's like, oh, this is terrible. You should do it this way.
Why'd you go over there? I could have taught you here.
Yeah, no shit, yeah. Yep.
It sounds so familiar because the same thing. I grew up around cars all my life, and my dad is teaching me things like, no, that's not how you do it, and like that's not how you take it off. You're taking too long, or get out of the way. Or that's right. Bueno, para nada. I'm trying, Dad. I'm sorry.
No.
Jesus, man.
Yes.
That took it back. Yeah. No, that's okay. I because I mean, you grew up with it. It's in your blood.
Yep.
And so I'm sure, like, same thing with me in cars. It's the same thing.
Yep.
Always getting but now I'm sure it's
I
different.
thought you were going to say I'm always getting electrocuted. That's what it almost sounded like you were going to say. Always get electrocuted. Fantastic at my job.
That's not how you do it.
Papaya, no!
Jumper cables to the nipple.
No, he likes that. That's actually something that Javier...
Hey, that's my kink, man.
Sorry.
Get
we
off.
don't kink shame him. He gets real upset.
Kink shaming is my kink. No, but I'm glad to hear that. It's very cool to especially be influenced by your family, and especially reading up on the history. It's going to be 90 years in 2025.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, they opened in 1935. They had a little grocery store beforehand, across the street, and my great grandmother came. Well, they were both from Michoacan, but different little towns, but. My great-grandmother came over and picked cotton was her first job, and my great-grandfather was in Alvarado, which, oddly enough, my mom's from Alvarado. But her grandfather was from Sweden.
Jeez.
Yeah, so very her maiden name is Bjork, but in Alvarado they pronounce it Burke.
Okay. Makes sense.
Everything in Texas is just messed up.
Yeah.
But my great-grandfather, he was a butcher at Swift Farmer and on the north side, so he worked in the packing houses, and I'm not sure how they met, but went off and did a grocery store, and it was actually Joe's Barbecue in 35. There's the original smoke pit is still right behind that front register in the front room.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yep. And it was in the menus from 35. It was only smoked brisket. It was a Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
And he died in 52. And my great grandmother had kind of been known for making enchiladas out the back for all the truck drivers and other people. And when he died, she didn't, he manned the pit, so she didn't know how to do that. So it went from Joe's Barbecue to Joe's Mexican Dishes, Joe T. Garcia's Mexican Dishes. They changed the name in 52.
Still the same sign.
Same sign, yep. Yeah, it went from, it used to say Joe's Barbecue, and they changed the sign to Joe T. Garcia's Mexican Dishes, and was only one dish. In 52.
Then, two.
Yeah. Then came the 80s. 30 years later.
We need options, okay?
I know we're big, but we have an idea for one more.
Yes.
There was a time where y'all branched out to Dallas also, right? And so how long were y'all over there in Dallas?
I think a total of maybe like 6 or 7 years. I think it was the early 80s. I was kind of young, but it was early 80s, like 1980 to probably 86, 87. A couple of my uncles and aunt went over there, and then I think a couple of them got homesick, came back home to Fort Worth, and left one of my uncles over there, and he ended up getting cancer, so we shut that one down.
Got it.
They did at the time.
Right.
I went over there a few times. I mean, he was in my uncle. That uncle was really, I don't know how connected to the music industry though, but. We catered. I think I remember meeting Jermaine and all the Jacksons. Yeah, my sister got to meet Michael because I think it was at the Victory Tour in '84 or something. Joe T's catered in the Los Anatole, and my sister still got a picture of him with his red sequins and all of it. And I didn't get to go.
You were too young.
I was too young, but I got to go to the restaurant one night, and his whole family was there, like
that's
all
crazy.
the brothers. But he didn't show up to the deal. And I think that same year, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how my uncle was connected in the music business so heavily, but we catered for Bruce Springsteen in the East Street, Born in the USA tour, and that was at a bowling alley in South Oak Cliff. I also didn't get to go to that.
Jeez, man.
So who's the most famous person you've met ever, or at Joe T's? I'm sure a lot of people have come in and out of the place.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, my family's met a ton of them. I mean,
Let's talk about
on the music trend.
Famous you. Who's the most famous person you've met?
I guess, I don't know, at the time, like in that same music trend, like I think it was Use Your Illusions tour and Guns N' Roses. They came to Joe T's afterwards, and it was right after they had those riots in like St. Louis, and Dallas was like the next stop. So like Slash and Axl and Duff, all those guys were there, and they came in after the concert, and so I was in high school at that point. They were there from like midnight till I think 6 or 7 in the morning.
Wow,
it was pretty crazy, and they were rock stars. It was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
How tall was Slash, by the way? How? I know the hat puts on like a couple of inches.
A couple.
I don't know. I feel like maybe 5'9", maybe.
Oh well,
like
all right. That
maybe
ain't so bad.
maybe less. I don't remember.
You're taller, right?
I'm like 6'2", maybe.
Yeah. It would have been cool to meet Duff McKagan and Axl Rose, and
I think Duff couldn't. He was kind of having trouble walking a little bit, so he was kind of. And then Axl was off in a corner. I think he was dating Stephanie Seymour at the time or something. So they kind of got to themselves, but Slash was up at the bar, like hanging out with all the wait staff and telling us all these stories about the riot. And
that's crazy.
He was cutting. It was memorable.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is funny though. I mean, we're gonna get back to your restaurants because that's after this comment. We're gonna get back to your restaurants. But it is kind of cool to know that. I mean, I'm proud of Joe T's from being from Fort Worth, just because. It is, other than the Stockyards, it is like one of the staples that everyone has been to and everyone knows about. Like I like to travel and I like to go elsewhere, and I'll be like, hey, yeah, I'm from Fort Worth. They're like, oh, Joe T's? I'm like, yes, Joe T's. Like, it's weird how a restaurant can like make people associate our entire city with that one thing, you know?
That's
crazy.
Exactly right. I mean, every time I travel, if it ever comes up, like people are like, no way, like Joe T's? Like, if you've come through Fort Worth, more than likely, I mean, that's where people take, tourists, like people that are swinging through town. It's pretty unique. I don't know many other places that have that long of a small business family history and that size, and just the amount of detail that, and really passion. I mean, my dad's hobby is gardening, and that's the patio.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, so he goes to work and he goes to do his hobby in the morning, and then he showers and comes back to work.
Well, it's beautiful there for sure.
Well,
okay,
it was very cool. I know one more thing. Side thing.
Come on,
it was very cool because I was reading up on the history, and it was very cool. Starting his day is like 5:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And goes and does his garden work.
Yep.
Does it really early. Yep. And of course, it reminds him of his grandma.
Yep.
And so it's very cool to read about that, and then also of the amount of plants that are there. And also, was it like 17 palm trees y'all have there or something like that? I'm trying to
okay, we get it. You did your research, Javier.
It was very
He's awesome at Google.
Right?
I'm telling you, that's why I knew the baseball thing, because I was like, oh, let me read this interview of his.
Lanny, just say thank you, Javier. We love you.
No one ever knows who I am. It's like, oh, it's always Chad. Oh, Chad. He's a man of the show.
There's a shitload of palm trees there, for sure.
Which may or may not be around 17.
Whatever. Did you ever go swimming in that big old pool as a kid?
That's where I learned how to swim.
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, no. I mean, for a while, I think I took a chain in there when I was younger too, and there was like a stain of a chain in there because it got rusted. My grandmother never got it refinished, but it's always my mark.
Now, when you're 90, you can go back. It's like, kids, I left the chain there.
They actually got rid of because it did used to be a pool.
Yeah.
I mean, and now it's a reflection pond, because on the insurance policy it was a reflection pond for a while until somebody finally was like, you can't do this. It took till 2006 or 7 for an insurance company to finally be like, that is a 12-foot damn pool, not a reflection pond.
I didn't realize it was that deep.
Wow. Yeah. So one of our friends in the chat, Christy, she said that she was at Joe T's and she sat next to Owen Wilson.
Yeah, those guys, he and his brother go in there a lot. I mean, what's his brother's name? Luke, yeah. I remember before he was big, and Drew Barrymore was the deal. I was still working there, so this must have been the mid to late 90s. I was like all enamored, like, oh, Drew Barrymore, like, hey, would you like us to put you in this, away from all the general pop, and she, this guy kind of stepped in and was like, hey, we're okay, but it was Luke, but but that was the first time I met. They come in a lot. I think they're from Dallas, so they go in there a lot, I believe. I mean, a lot of people go in there.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, is everybody stops in there if they're in town.
Okay.
Especially the guys that visit Fort Worth. They seem to bring a lot of movie stars to Fort Worth, so they all come through.
It was really cool at South by. We got to meet Eric Nelson, right from 1883.
Yeah.
They had some guys from 1883 there, and then they've been doing a lot of things with 12 Mighty Orphans, and Luke Wilson was a part of that, right? And it seems like there's gonna be a lot more coming to Fort Worth here, so pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's different, man. I guess Billy Bob's and those acts were a draw back then, but people always come to Fort Worth. It's always the cooler sibling in the Metroplex.
Cowtown.
Oh, we know that.
They want to see Cowtown.
Cheers to that. Cheers to being the cooler sibling in the Metroplex. Over here. Okay. All right. So back to your restaurants now. All right. So we were talking about Fantasma.
Yeah.
So you've got the three again. You've got Pizzas a Pasta, El Pollo Tocayo.
Tocayo,
right?
yep.
And then Eat Fajitas.
That's right.
Which one of the three would you say gets the most, like, I would say business? It's all the same business.
Yeah.
But which one are people ordering more, you think?
Eat Fajitas.
Yeah.
Just because it was kind of the first child, and it's been around longer, so it's most of the business, and the kind of fajitas and margaritas combination just really stuck. So I mean, in my opinion, it's a different take on fajitas, and people are used to dried out or anything other than correct cooking methods or marination or right cuts of meat or seasoning our vegetables on the flat top so that it's not just dry onions and peppers, but the fajitas but the pizza's catching legs. I mean, a lot of people are ordering pizza.
Nice.
And it's taken off a lot. So we're selling quite a bit of pizza, and the chickens. It's kind of in the order of how they've been. Fajitas was first, then we opened pizza, and now people are like, "What's the chicken thing now?" But I like the pizza and the fajita, so but it's kind of that order. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Pizza. I think the pizza and Italian cuisine has always been something I've always wanted to do professionally, like in a professional atmosphere, but always been hesitant and wait until I know how I want to do it. And I think this is how I want to do it. So kind of Mexican influence and fresh made pastas, and we're using the same thing. We're using authentic Italian methods in our dough, or Parmigiano Reggiano only, and certain just I don't know, same thing. Ingredients matter. So I don't know. I just I like. I'd spent a little time in Italy. I got asked to go lead a bike tour in Emilia-Romagna region about 5 years ago, and it was I love the cuisine, and we rode from Bologna all the way down to Rimini. It was like 350, 400 miles.
Wow.
We ride like between 30 and 60 miles a day, but the rides were like ride for espresso, next stop gelato, next stop vineyard, next stop lunch, and it was pretty deliberate. But just seeing the countryside and the slow foods, how they do it the old way there, I just I don't know. It's kind of how I used to feel about Mexican cuisine. I just kind of have a real love and passion for Italian food.
Yeah.
So would you say that style of eating, like little portions, like I know there's that Magdalena's that does a supper club where they bring you the course and you they wait like maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes until they bring you the next course. Do you think that's a better method of like eating food?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, food and drink, I think, is all about enjoying the company and who you're with. I mean, I know that I always tell our servers in any concept that we've ever had that, if some people came together to break some bread, they didn't invite you. Like, let's help them, like, and be really cool, but like stand back and let people. You never know if they're getting married or getting divorced or whatever the hell they're going through. Like just kind of. But I think sharing a meal with somebody is something I feel like it's really important. I mean, it sparks great conversations, memorable moments, and if the food's really good, it's even makes it more memorable. And I think that a long, deliberate meal is the best way to enjoy it. I mean.
Yeah, that is so true. I think the way you're putting it, it's kind of like whenever I was younger and I'd be like eating food, or I would just like chomp on it, I wouldn't even breathe.
Yeah.
And they'd say like
wait,
taste it
like when you were a kid, or
when I was at both. Now too.
Okay.
Also when I'm an adult,
what has changed?
I'll chug a drink and they're like, man, slow down and breathe, like enjoy it. But I never. I was just a glutton for that. So I guess it's cool seeing that. You go to different places to eat, and it's just convenience, fast, and let's just go. But never a chance to sit down and enjoy your food and enjoy company.
Yeah,
like you're saying.
I mean, it's kind of the norm of the country. I mean, we're all in a hurry to get somewhere and do something more faster, and to slow down. And connect is big. I mean, I think it's, I'm guilty of it, but pulling the phone out or trying to get, be in a hurry when you're trying to spend time with somebody is nope.
Right. So is it going to be just the 3, or are you just going to keep trialing like new things?
I want to do some more like virtual brands is kind of what we'll call them.
Yeah.
So I did purchase Carnitas del Sancho website several months ago. So that's something we're playing with. But I don't know what we'll do next. But right now I'm trying to focus on getting all of these, and I'd like to see kind of something happen, whether it's parking lot parties or side. Because the ghost kitchen thing it's confusing and a lot of people, and it's convenience is what it is. And folks that are in a hurry or have a family and don't have time to sit down to eat or clean, and there are those instances when you're not sharing a meal that you get that opportunity. Sometimes you're in a hurry, and we can fill that void. But I think a lot of people do want to like enjoy that there, and we do make everything from scratch, and they're all viable standalone brick and mortar concepts if we put them somewhere.
Yeah.
I chose to put them in a ghost kitchen, so I'm trying to find a way to get people to be able to enjoy there too.
Well, it's cool because you have the opportunity you have the kitchen. You can try all of these different concepts and then test them, like see which one's doing well, what's doing, not so well, and tweak it and be able to go on with that, but not have 18 restaurants and then one failed because maybe it wasn't the best idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you really get to test and throw it out there. But I think that the ghost kitchen concept is really, really neat. It's funny because Tim, it was months ago, but Tim brought up ghost kitchens for the very first time. He mentioned that Walmart was going to do it, and they were going to do like, I don't know, it was like Pizza Hut, Quiznos, and Subway, like all these random brands, but out of one kitchen. And we're like, well, that sounds crazy. Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense, like for like efficiency, you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, whatever. But I had not known that a lot of people, like anyone was really doing that. Are you, that you know of, like the only ghost kitchen in the area? Because I don't know of anyone else.
I think doing the approach that we're taking, like there's people doing ghost kitchens that are, it's mainly real estate guys that are trying to take a whole building and get a bunch of tenants, and it's more of a convenient. The model works for the folks that have done it in that, and because
it's money, not quality.
Yeah,
kind of like Trinity Groves,
and it's multiple different owners too. So and those models too, like the ghost. I mean, there is one in Fort Worth. I don't know if they're open yet, but it's that Cloud Kitchens place, but they rent. To my knowledge, they kind of rent out to fast food places, so that if you are ordering Chick-fil-A or some place like that, it may not come from one of these stores. They want to have a facility where all they do is their delivery out of somewhere centrally located. So my approach was, I thrive in the creative world. I really like to build brands and write menus and recipe tests.
You can tell. I mean, like the labels, and then each brand has got its own, like the chicken. I don't know if I'm going to see if they can see it on the screen.
The double chicken,
the double-sided chicken. Yeah, really, really smart. Which you can find this on the website too. Like it's not just one brand. Like Fantasma, each one has their own specific brand. And it's very intricate and what am I trying to deliberate? I guess.
Yeah. I've got a good buddy that does the graphic design, and I give him a design board and we work together on it, but he did Righteous logo, these logos, and they're awesome.
Pass me that. What was this one again? It was like what was in it? Was it like a strawberry lemonade?
Pretty much. It's blackberry. It's black. Okay. We dehydrate blackberries and then pulverize them into a powder and just add it to a lemonade. Yeah,
very good. Also the margaritas. I mean, I'm sure you know how to make good margaritas at this point, but they're delicious too.
Yep. Yeah, that's just fresh squeezed lime juice, añejo, a little bit of orange liqueur. Yeah, that's all it is.
Very good.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. So we've talked a lot about Fantasma. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of plug on Fantasma? Like, where can people find the website or the food so that they can order?
Fantasmakitchens.com has a link to all the different brands, and it has some info. We're actually going to start doing some private events there, and probably some pop-up restaurant stuff too, where I might do some tasting menus from Alta Cocina or something.
You have to let us know.
Yeah, we have. Because we do have I didn't take out the stained glass windows or anything, so all the sanctuary. I've got some tables in there, and we did our employee appreciation party there a couple of weeks ago. It's a cool space. So,
and it was just it's like an old church, right?
Yeah. It's La Trinidad Methodist. It was there for a long time. I get a lot of folks that still, I grew up going to that church. I'm like, I'm sorry. We're going to take the cross down and put a chicken up there with like a weather vane. And we'll
like a double-sided chicken, like
yeah.
That's so great.
Well, we tried to. The city sign department vetoed it.
Oh no. Okay.
Couldn't have the illuminated. Maybe we'll put it up there and ask for forgiveness and see how long they let it stay, because it should go up there.
I mean, y'all did have a reflecting pond or whatever for
right.
how many years?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know how that got up there. It was like that when we got it. No, but that righteous too. I mean, it's also, it's if you're into breakfast, lunch, and even dinner. Actually, our dinner crowd's really good, and little patio. I mean, all the food's good. It all comes from the same place.
So what kind of stuff is at Righteous? Because we haven't talked a lot about Righteous. What kind of foods can we find there?
Health-oriented foods. I mean, they're not all, but we still have tacos. We've got bison tacos and salmon tacos and shrimp tacos and cochinita tacos, and we've got a great burger. It's all all natural meats, and the breakfast is really good. We've got breakfast burritos and chilaquiles and omelets and chia seed puddings and granola bowls and acai bowls, and it's a huge menu, and smoothies and drinking vinegars and organic cocktails and boutique coffee.
Drinking vinegar.
It's basically like a kombucha. I mean, it's a digestif. It's called a shrub. So you put a little bit of vinegar that we make in house, and you mix it with Topo Chico or a mineral water.
Interesting.
And it's kind of a acidic soda, and it's kind of helps for aids in digestion and probiotics and all the stuff.
Neat.
So we started doing those when we first opened. We were making them all. We were making our own kombucha in house when we first opened. We finally stopped doing that, and we stopped making a lot of those things that were time consuming. But I mean, it's a big menu, and we got a big following there. It's we've got some great regulars that sometimes eat 2 and 3 times a meal there, which is awesome. Yeah. It's kind of what I wanted to create there. When at Alta Cocina and the fine dining realm, you tend to see people on birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions, and it's great. But you're always on stage for the big night, and you got to make some dude act he's really cool, I promise. We're intended. We have to make somebody else look great. But it seems like we're always on stage, and I wanted to have somewhere that was more like a regular place that you see people weekly, daily, and it happened at Righteous. We got a lot of regulars that come in all the time, and it's really, really cool. It's different. Like fine dining, I just felt like it was literally like going on stage on Broadway every night, because you're like, okay, all right, here's the reservation sheet, and it's just like birthday, anniversary, and you're wow, shit, we got to perform again. Like there's no off nights. We don't want to misspell happy birthday again with chocolate.
Nice. I will say I have not yet been to Righteous, but I have heard nothing but good things. You've been, haven't you? Or Tim's been quite a few times.
I was looking at the pictures of the food, and I was looking at the poke bowls.
Yeah, they're great. That's like our number one seller.
Oh, I just love those. So
the ahi poke bowl, and then we have a salmon one. They're really good. Yeah, it's my wife's go-to dish.
Yum.
And it's so close for me. It's so close. So I mean, like, I have no excuse. So I know for sure I need to go over there for breakfast. Because I usually get like a chia overnight oat bowl from Starbucks and like a cold brew. But I'm like, well, why the hell am I going to pay like $25? To go and get this favored? I might as well just go to Righteous Foods and get it over there, and also support local. Because that's what we're here for. The whole point of this is just to support local businesses, foods, like sites, spots, whatever we have here. So we appreciate everything.
It's important. I mean, I think I don't know. That's it's always hard when people ask too, like, where's your favorite restaurant? I'm like, anybody that's doing it, like bootstrapping it locally and is trying, like, that's where I go.
Which is again, why we always ask, like, we have guests on, like, what's your favorite local food spot? Because, like, I mean, those people have money. Yeah. Olive Garden has money.
Are you sure?
Well, that never-ending pasta, they sure as shit better.
How are they making money?
But it's always good to see local succeed, and you want to see more of that, especially with the 2 years that we've had when it's come to the pandemic, and it's really cool to see you overperform from what I see and from what I've heard, because I got a lot of friends too that are bodybuilders and they'll go to Righteous Foods. Just to see it succeed, and for this new venture of yours to grow and to expand. I mean, we're we've been talking about it for a while. And as a matter of fact, my girlfriend got me into it because Carissa cuts her hair.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
she's like, you need to talk to Lanny.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, I did not know that you owned Righteous.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool to get to know that and to meet you, period. So with that, like, what one passion project do you have? If you don't, I mean, you don't want to touch passion project, but what's one thing you'd want to do if you're given the opportunity, to do?
Like in business and why?
Business and food.
Yeah, I think. I have a passion for food, and I think it's fine dining. I think that the level of exploration, people that really appreciate. I don't know. I mean, I feel like when I write menus or really get into a creative state and make food, I feel like it's kind of I don't know, almost like a book or something, because it's referencing some cuisine from a certain region that has a parallel in another place, or it just has it's a little deeper than just steak and potato. It has the food can tell a story along with the ingredients, and I love that. And fine dining, like I said, I did it for a long time. It becomes a lot about or it has become a lot about an individual that owns the establishment, and I was dumb enough to put my name on the place too, so it really became about the individual. But I think that doing that again, if I didn't have to worry about filling every table and being in the right location and having to train all the staff and all the challenges that have the restaurant, I think fine dining is definitely probably my deepest passion, just because I want to take time to make the food the right way, and can't make 100 of those, I got to touch my team or whoever, we got to touch the plates, and I got to put some thought into it. And I like that part of entertaining and that part of cooking. That's why I got into it. That's why I'm still doing it. I mean, a lot of my friends from culinary school are not doing this anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
My sister went to school, and she lives in Chihuahua. So she went to school to be a chef, learn how to cook.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like she graduated, and sorry, Scarlett, she, but she, after a while, she was just like, wasn't into it as much. I'm not sure why, but like you said, it's just, I don't know, man.
It's a hard industry. There's a lot more. There's a difference in cooking for those people that you love and your family, and cooking for a busy dining room of demanding customers, and you want to make them all happy. And I went through a period of perfectionism, and you're just ultimately you're burning at both wicks. I mean, burning the candle both ends, and you can't satisfy everybody. And then somebody writes a nasty review, and they put your name on it, and you're like, fuck, man.
God damn it.
Who the working my ass off here, man? Actually, your mom's a hoe.
Which that's when you start your own magazine.
I'm very glad you brought that up, because there's a question on there. Did you bring up the chef thing, the chef question?
Oh,
the
yeah,
movie?
that's a good question.
Because you said, have you seen the movie Chef with Jon Favreau?
I have. I have seen clips of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, no.
It's like what you're saying, like, he doesn't put out the menu that he wants to put out for this damn reviewer. Yeah. And then he sees the shitty review that he gets, or his staff's getting, and he goes over there. He's like, it's fucking molten lava cake. And it's like, you get a frozen piece of you. And he's explaining it, and he just got this passion. He's just like throwing F-bombs. And it's like, I mean, it's, you had the question. You ask it.
And I'm not going to.
What is the parallels? What are the parallels with that? Because like you said, getting a shitty review, it sucks. Yeah. So like, I mean, do you like every now and then you're like, not to say that you have, I'm sure I have never heard bad shit out of your restaurant, but the feeling of reading something like, motherfucker, this guy said this shit, like.
Do you let it go, or does it still like impact you if it happens?
It used to be really hard to let go, and honestly now my wife reads them, and I don't, because of that reason, because I have trouble letting it go, and I'm like, this Google tour guide my ass. This guy doesn't know shit about anything. We actually had to review a guy at Righteous that I read. It was funny because he gave us 1 star, and he'd never been there. He's like, I used to be vegan, so I think it's a vegan place. We ate vegan that way for a while, but I don't know. By the looks of it, I'm going to give it 1 star. But then again, I've never eaten there, so, good luck to them. Like,
what?
Yeah,
That's bullshit.
Like, buddy, that's not how this works, buddy.
No.
Like, you got to try it.
Yeah.
But, so that's kind of funny, but there's, I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's dumb.
I feel like even I know during the pandemic, a lot of people got heated, and the screaming at restaurant staff finally got exposed. Like, don't do that. These are people making a living.
Yeah.
So I feel like the reviews have calmed down a little bit, but there was definitely a period I thought that there needed to be like that Jimmy Kimmel kind of reading the bad whatever
mean tweets. Yeah,
mean tweets. I think I've been like reading these reviews and to a camera and be like, you sound like an idiot.
We should have had you bring some of those and we could read them. Oh,
that would have been cool.
That would have been funny as hell.
You come cook me some halibut, asshole.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So you've been to a million places to try different foods. What's the one selfish place you'd want to go to country wise? Like you want to go try their cuisine?
Go try.
That he already has, or he wants to.
That he wants to. Like, what's
Okay.
the one thing that you haven't? You've tried a million things, but you've never gone to one.
Yeah,
certain
I
spot.
haven't been to France, and that's kind of the kind of where restaurants and fine dining kind of got its start. So I feel like I need to go to the source and see the countryside and all that. So that's on my list. I've been to Spain, I've been to Italy and Morocco and some other places I'm interested in the cuisine and spices and stuff. So I want to go back to Italy, and it's hard to go, like, plan to try to, and I don't know when I'll get the next chance to go, but it'll be hard to not to go back to Italy before France. But I definitely want to go to France. Like I said,
They're right there. You can do both.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, I know. You guys, Sean, y'all I'll take care of shit.
Yeah,
I'll
he'll be
back
fine.
in a couple of weeks.
He won't be watching YouTube the entire time.
No.
Swear.
How about Japan? Have you had a chance
I've
to go
not.
to Japan?
No, that's certainly, definitely, yes. Japan would probably be number one. Yeah, actually.
Really?
Yep. No, I know it. I mean, it's super interesting, and I always think about food in Europe, just because there's a little bit more, but the notoriety Japan's gotten, what they do is completely unique. I mean, and all over. I mean, there's a lot of places in Asia. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd love to experience all of it. I mean, I thought for a minute after I did that bike tour in Italy about doing some, like, and Bourdain had just died, and so I was like, you know what, I want to see if I can pitch an idea to somebody to film doing what we did and go bike in small towns and see authentic methods and grandma's making pasta or grandma's rolling out tortillas, and we'll just bike from town to town and kind of do a travel food show.
Yeah.
I think it has legs because you could do a road bike in France where they do the Tour de France, and you can do a mountain bike in the Patagonia, and you can do a electric bike in Holland. I mean, you could use different bikes and all over. Use a stolen bike in Mexico.
Shit! You better be careful because they might follow you or something like that. Goddamn cartel. But so what's the one thing South Korean cuisine and Japanese cuisine really interests me, but what's one thing from Japan that you'd want to would want to try?
Just the fish markets and the fresh fish and just being around that stuff.
That's very crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to see it and go to. I mean, experience fine dining too, and the different cuisines and see where people take it to the highest level.
Yeah.
At its root, I mean, that's anywhere. I mean, that's always the center of travel where we go. I mean, it's like, okay, where are we going to eat? How are we going to eat? Every meal is planned. So, it's inspiration too. Yeah. I mean, you can do the same. I mean, we kind of came back to my Tex-Mex roots with Fantasma, but I mean, there's so much to learn about food and regions and cuisines, and I don't know, it's super interesting. So any region that has unique character and something that's not just I don't know, middle America burgers.
Yeah. No more diner drive-ins and dives.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got plenty of that.
Lenny's going to come back on in like 2 or 3 years. He's going to have 6 brands under Fantasma. He's going to have like ramen and all these like
like cold soba, and he's going to have a show on Magnolia Network with
right
him, and it's going to be him and like Jonathan Morris, and
Jonathan used to be my neighbor.
Seriously?
Yeah, we used to live next door to each other.
That's cool.
Yep.
We met him at South by for the first time. Really nice guy.
Yep, he's great.
That's a really good idea. Thankfully, we're not national. That's a really good idea, man. Like, I think you need to take that somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really cool what you're doing. Obviously, Righteous Foods, I need to check out. I definitely want to try the poke bowls because I haven't had poke in a while, and it sounds absolutely phenomenal. Sure. But just the idea of like, I think that there's a lot of places that are very much in tune with traditional food and having to do things a certain way, and there's a place for that, right? Like I absolutely think same thing with wine, champagne, or beer, or whatever it may be. There is a place for that authentic, traditional way of doing something. But it's really neat that you're expanding and doing honestly whatever the hell you want at this point, right? And it's really, really neat. And you're like creating something brand new. And then it also seems like that feeds your appetite for new, because it sounds like you like trying new things and trying to, you talked about a lot of your friends at school and stuff don't do this anymore. It's probably because they're not constantly changing and evolving and trying new things, and you get to do all that. And so it's really, really neat. It's really cool to hear. And the food was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for bringing it.
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, the living in the state of cooking and creativity is great, but unfortunately, there's a lot more to the restaurant model than that. And I don't always get to live there. I get to live behind a desk and do accounting or training or whatever the heck's what.
I know people forget, right? It's not just cooking; it's the entire business, like people, customers, the whole concept. Yeah.
And I wish I could let go and be like, "All right, you do this," but I'm like, "Wait a second, how are you doing that?"
Right.
And eventually, I have to, or if I'm going to expand. But I don't know if I will expand. I mean, that's the reason I don't want to do anything. I've done some consulting work out of Fort Worth, but I feel like there's still a lot of green grass in Fort Worth for cuisines and different concepts. And I know if I'm here, I live here, I feel like I know what we're missing, and I know I can drive over there and make sure that I can check on it. And whenever people expand too fast, I just don't see how you can have any really deep controls. I mean, I've always just heard like, well, if they're doing 75% of what we're saying, then we're winning. Like, wow, that's rough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Wow. Well, we really appreciate you coming on.
No,
this is absolutely
guys,
this has been really, really fun. Is there anything else that you wanted to plug or let the people know before we kind of end this thing?
No, I think we've covered a lot, man.
Okay. And then both Fantasma and Righteous Foods are on social media, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've got a Instagram for Righteous, Fantasma, and then the 3 brands under Fantasma you can find on Fantasma, because I don't want to confuse everybody, because we got some confusing roadmap of social media. But I mean, if we're on the Facebook, we don't have Twitter. We do, but we don't really post to it. But I think we've done a couple of TikTok stuff, so I think we have accounts for Fantasma and Righteous.
Do you? We're have to check that out. We've been dabbling in the TikTok, but not really that. We're not that great.
Yeah, I know. I was like, should I post this? Let me ask my nephew.
Right. Well, yeah, and we'll make sure that we tag the restaurant information and the websites on the description on the video, and then make sure we do so on the podcast that drops on Thursday as well. But man, we really appreciate it. We absolutely do. The drinks were great. Like, I can't say enough about how good that food was earlier.
All right, thanks.
And how down to earth you are. I mean, you got a lot of shit going on, and this has been really fun hanging out. So cheers to you. We appreciate you.
Well, thanks. It was a good unplug from all the shit I have going on, because a lot of times it is a slog.
I can imagine.
I was very nervous too. That's why I wore this sweater, because I'm sweating profusely underneath.
Listen, you can't tell everyone every episode that you're a sweaty Betty.
It's called hyperhidrosis, ladies and gentlemen. It's a condition. You can't make fun of my conditions.
That's right.
You're going to come across and slap me. All right. Did you want to get into that?
Actually, let's get into it real quick.
I don't have music. I don't have music
God
for
damn
that.
It. We got a segment called What Butters My Biscuits?
Yep.
And so it was going to be...
Let's do this.
Is that it?
No, this is not it, but this is going to be what you're doing.
I called it The Slap Heard Round the World.
Yep.
It was a very shitty slap. First of all, I just want to say that he wound up pretty good, but he didn't really land that well.
I mean, Chris Rock's face went a decent distance. I mean, it was like 2 feet. I mean, it was a little bit of a slap.
So what do you think? Like, how do you feel about that slap?
It was very subpar. I mean, after like seeing Ali and Boombayah Ali and
yes, actually,
knocking the shit out of people with round, you can't do that open hand stuff. I mean, if you're really gonna stick up for somebody, put them down.
Absolutely,
I mean,
100%.
In front of millions of people. I guess you're right.
Now, I will say the downside to it is that of course, he won like 45 minutes later for Best Actor.
Yes.
But also it overshadowed everything. Right. That's all you don't hear about the winners. You don't hear about Coda winning like the first deaf like movie.
Yep.
A person to win an award. You just hear about the slap.
Yeah.
So that's.
However, I didn't even know the Oscars were on. Like, I don't remember the last time I watched the Oscars. So as bad as it was, like, for the Oscars and for Will Smith, obviously, it also brought a lot of attention that, oh, yeah, the Oscars are still a thing, because I didn't know anything about the Oscars on Sunday.
And maybe that's why, because now maybe some people are
Right?
watching
That's why I was like, was it staged? Was this just to get some, like, attention back into the Oscars? I don't know.
The first time it popped in my feed, I was like, there's no way this Hollywood thing that this just happened accidentally.
Yeah, it was insane.
Then you heard the audio. You're like, oh
yeah. He was really angry.
It was so cringe. It was like dead silent in the theater. Yep. And you see Lupita Nyong'o behind him. She's like, first she's laughing, and then she's like,
oh, no, this is real. Yeah. I mean, he's a great actor. So at first you're like, well, maybe this is all just for show. And then you're like, okay, he's not that good of an actor. Like, this is real.
I'll tell you what, though, Chris Rock's tickets for his upcoming tour have, like, skyrocketed.
Yes.
So that's good.
I feel like he needs to bring back all those songs from his generation, like the
oh my God,
No Sex in the Champagne Room. And,
oh, yeah.
Yes, and all Adam Sandler's early stuff.
Please don't sing the Hanukkah song. At the thing. Oh, my God. But, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was just a subpar moment.
So that butters your biscuits?
Yeah. You know, that's all I've been hearing about for the past 2 days. Was it 2 days?
Yeah.
I kind of felt like that today. I went through the scroll. I was like, wow, that was
the
lot of
meme.
Will Smith memes, man.
We almost did one, but we opted against it.
Yeah.
We were that close. There was too many.
we still might. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll give it a week or two. Yeah. People will be like, why are you still talking about Will Smith? We're done with this already. Right. All right. Well, I guess that's it then, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, thank you for coming on. Yep. Thank you all for watching us on YouTube. If you don't already do so, again, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, let us know how we're doing. If you don't already follow us on social media, you can do so at The Funky Panther, and all of these things are going to be at thefunkypanther.com. We'll make sure to link both Fantasma and Righteous in the description, like I mentioned. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Stay good, y'all. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
I'm Stark.
And we are
The Funky Panther!
Cheers.